Hi, this is David Stanko for AmericanSalon.com. Join me every other week to hear me interview industry celebs and other interesting folks. Good morning. How is everyone doing out there? I'm sitting here in the middle of New York City with the man who helps create Fashion Week looks, Mr. Rodney Cutler. Good morning, Rodney.
Good morning, David. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure that you're here, especially right now, because this is the middle of Fashion Week, spring-summer 2016.
Yes, about to start. Thursday, the official day tomorrow, but you know there's already 5 shows on today because everybody finds a way to add another show. So it's good. Running a salon, keeping that going, having the teams going out in Fashion Week. Exciting, but stressful time.
Well, speaking of salons, I just want everyone to know that you are the owner of Cutler Salons in New York City. There are 4, 3 in Manhattan, and a newly opened salon in Williamsburg.
I'm now cool by association.
You are now cool because of Williamsburg. That's great. But speaking of cool, you are the guy, you know, when we think of Cutler, because I happen to work with you in the salon, and we do press events and we do shows together. And when I think of Cutler, I think of the fashion aspect of the salon. So what do you think about that?
You know, it's funny. When we started Cutler, there was a big obsession with celebrities. And it was that period where it was the late 90s, you know, and every magazine had celebrities on. But I felt this passion to sort of get more involved in Fashion Week. And it really wasn't this big hot ticket. Editors weren't as interested. They were more, the first question was like, which celebrity do you do? But I felt like fashion was always evolving. To me, it's where you know, even hair fashion begins on the runway. So that's where we stamped our mark, and it's been a great journey. And it's a creative process that twice a year, you know, it's evolving.
So speaking of Fashion Week, which is taking place right now, just blocks away from us, why should a hairdresser in the United States even care about Fashion Week?
Because our magazines, not only are they reading American Salon, but they are also reading Harper's and Vogue. They're connected to fashion. They want to know about it. They want it to be appropriate for their lifestyle and their age and their demographic. But we have to be the voice of that. So whether you're cutting hair just in the salon and doing your clients, it's important to be the voice. Then you are forecasting fashion for them. And we are telling them something ahead of time. So it's critical that we translate. It's keeping it simple, but we translate it into daily looks.
So, you know, Fashion Week is a big animal. It gets a lot of publicity and a lot of press coverage. Give us some of the behind-the-scenes prep. What actually goes into putting a show together?
So one of the questions that everybody asks is always, what's going to happen this week? And I'm like, I don't know yet. And that's the beauty of it. It's actually organic. And what happens is that we go to the designer, we meet them, and the first thing that I need to do is look at their collection. So if I go in there with concepts already in my head, and I did it this week because I always do that. I have these ideas, and I'm going to run in there and throw it at them. So I won't tell you the designer yet, but you'll see it this week. And I created this look, this very high ponytail. It was very decorative. It was really, really cool. And he said, it looks amazing, and I just want natural hair and it to be straight with the center part. So that's what we're doing. So as a hairdresser, you want to do hair, but you have to surrender that. You have to go in there and go, my job is to make those clothes look amazing. So it could be a ponytail or it could be some elaborate hairdo. But you have to surrender your ego and walk through that process with the designer. Now, when you've worked with the designer for many seasons, it's easier because you know their creative DNA and what's their thread. So sometimes you get to do amazing, and sometimes it's very simple.
Now, are you allowed to help pick some of the models for Fashion Week?
What I do is I subtly say she's a beautiful girl, but that hair is not going to work, and we're going to need 1,500 hairdressers on, which is not going to happen. So I do try and steer that in a logical way, but at the end of the day, again, that is the hardest part of Fashion Week. Is you may have a great hairdo, but do you have the team to execute it consistently? If a model's running late, do you have time to get that done? Because at the end of the day, the audience don't care whether the model was on time, has difficult hair. They have to look consistently amazing. So you have to be clever and looking at the board. I start to see the casting and see who they're casting. Is it realistic? Do we have to put extensions in, or can we just keep it the way it is? You have to be realistic and be honest with the designer.
So speaking of the team that does this work, how do you select the team that goes with you or takes their own shows?
It's a great question, and we always talk about that, with technique. It all starts with foundation. Fashion is two things. It's eye and it's technique. You may have a great idea, but if you can't execute it. So in our process, the training is critical. The hardest hairdo to do is the perfect ponytail. It's like boiling an egg, they tell me. I still can't boil an egg well. It is the hardest thing. And everyone's like, I can do a ponytail. Can you do a perfect ponytail that's going to last? So the technique and the training over years. And what we do is we know our team so well now that we want to develop young people in, so they might be holding pins the first year, but then we develop them through. We know we need to have enough team that we can nail this very quickly if we have to.
Okay, so fast forward. When Fashion Week is over, do you debrief with your teams, or how do we get the Cutler teams to translate those looks to the woman sitting in the chair?
Yeah, so like any big company, we have over 100 staff. Some people are obsessed with fashion. Some people just want to do their clients. We do a terrific soiree. Our creative director, Dean Holcomb, makes all our videos in-house. So we are looking when we make our videos to really those touch points of the hair. We do a soiree where we present video, a couple of key looks, and then we have the haircut. Some of the haircutters and the colorists translate that into looks that our clients could identify with. Not that everyone's going to get that look, but there's a couple of key things. It could be a bang, could be a certain texture, could be a certain Redken product that we really focused on this season. And then it starts to sort of consciously just sort of get into the minds of our staff day in and day out, because they have to be able to communicate that with their guests.
So anything that you would change as it relates to Fashion Week? Let's say it's next season. Anything that if you could wave your magic scissors, what would you change?
I would like to change when I walk out of every show going, ugh, the third model wasn't right, or I could have done it more effectively, more efficiently, or it could have just been better. And I think that's the beauty of it. I don't think I've ever, very rarely have I walked out and like, wow, that was amazing. So it's one of those things that's constantly moving, and I always feel like we haven't quite nailed it. So that's what keeps me coming back and gives me my agita all week.
I think that's smart because it means that you're always striving for the next level.
Yeah, and it's funny. We've done so many hairdos over the years, and I've done, I don't know how many shows, well over 100 fashion shows I've led. And you have these great ideas, and you're like, oh, I should have saved that one, because you never want to really do the same thing twice, So that's what's so special about it. You're trying to find something unique. Is it a ponytail? But maybe we change where it sits, or the finish, or the shape of it. And so you're always trying to just slightly move it, and that's what keeps you on your game.
Yep. Well, I think you've provided some great insight for the world of fashion. What happens before, certainly what happens during, and the critical part, which is always reevaluating and what I can do differently in the future. So I'm glad to hear that you have some special Redken products, that the designers select you, and that American Salon picked you right here in the middle of Fashion Week to give us some of your insight. Rodney, you're a gentleman, a talented guy, and fun to work with. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you.